from Alternative Be Podcast. We have a very special guest with us today. He has made a huge impact in the organic apparel industry. He's been in the screen printing business for more than 30 years. I'm very excited to introduce you TS Design President, Eric Henry. Hi, Eric.
How you doing today?
Doing well.
It's a little wet down here in North Carolina, but we had a couple of days of sunshine, so we definitely appreciated it.
Oh, it's rainy here too in Washington, so I definitely know how you feel on that one. So if it's all right with you, we are going to just go jumping right into the questions, if that's okay.
Sure, fire away.
All right. So you have made great achievements in the apparel and fashion industry while adhering to your own model being about planet, profit, and people. With over 30 years in the business, you have experienced the downfall and the complete near extinction of apparel manufacturing in the U.S. and overseas. We watched your TED Talk and you stated over 90% of apparel manufacturing is overseas. Can you give us your own take on how and why this is occurring and how is it affecting our global economy and the ethical standards and solutions of your business?
Wow. Yes, I think for us, it goes back to January 1, 1994. Prior to that date, we had grown a business to over 100 employees doing high volume contract screen printing for brands like Tommy, Nike, Gap, Polo. From every measurement, we were a successful business. We were profitable, we were growing, we paid a living wage, we had benefits, we had bonuses. And then January 1, 1994, NAFTA becomes ratified. And to me, that was the start of the marketplace going to a global platform, and everything was starting to be driven by the lowest price. So for our business, what happened is within about 2 years, we lost about 80% of our staff that had to be laid off just to try to survive, because all the customers that we had built up a great relationship that I just mentioned earlier, the Nikes and Tommies and Gap, all went overseas. And we've been on that path for the last, say, 25 or 30 years, which is essentially a market that is based upon lowest price. And then when you do that and you move out to what happened a year and a half ago in Bangladesh, where over 1,000 people died, and people says, well, how does that happen? And I said, very simple. They were paid 26 cents an hour. So what we've done in the apparel industry overwhelmingly, and as I did talk about my TED Talk, and again, you can play around with the numbers, but it's on the high 90% of our apparel is now made overseas. And the reason that is that the brands can make a lot more money that way. So as I like to say, it benefits a few and hurts a lot. And hopefully we're starting to see a turnaround. I'm not saying it's all going to come back to the U.S. The term I use is reshoring, but we just need to balance the scales. I think what we are realizing, the judging the apparel industry solely based by lowest price has brought in a heavy toll to both the environment and to people. And there is a growing group of people that feel like that is not the direction they want to go. And because of that, it's definitely seen a lot of interest. You know, we never left. So we're seeing a lot of interest in people that, like what we're doing and want to be a part of that.
Wow, that's actually pretty amazing. I've watched your TED Talks and I was really new to the cotton business, and because I never really paid attention to when I was looking at the clothes of where it was, of whether it was overseas or made here. But when I was watching your videos, I'm really now taking precaution of whether or not the cotton that I'm in my shirts are overseas or from here. I'm definitely paying extra more attention ever since I watched your videos on TED Talk.
And that's what I'll encourage people, because I do go out and talk a lot about our vision, our direction, our history. And what I tell people, we live in a crazy, complicated world.
Mm-hmm.
And But if we're going to have any chance of building a world where I think that we all want, where it's a world that everybody has an opportunity, everybody participates, it starts with us being aware. And
Hmm.
we all were aware of costs, because when we buy that new blouse or those new shoes, of course you know the cost, because you're pulling out your wallet, your credit card, your checkbook, or whatever. But if we do not start asking the question, what is the social and environmental impact I'm getting ready to have, then don't be surprised when we have more situations and disasters like happened in Bangladesh. We
Hmm.
have the consumer the opportunity to build the marketplace I think we want, but we have to take responsibility to do that.
And I absolutely agree with you. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, how is your own business, TS Design screen printing business, and your work supporting local manufacturing?
Business is great. I think what we're most recognized for is 7 years ago, we launched a brand called Cotton of the Carolinas. North Carolina is somewhere between third and fourth in cotton production in the U.S. So again, about 8 years ago, we went to a farmer about 60 miles from here, Ronnie Burleson, third generation cotton farmer. They do about 3,000 acres. And we just asked Ronnie, we'd like to buy your cotton. And again, Ronnie was a little bit surprised, because why would a little bitty company in Burlington, North Carolina, be interested in buying the raw cotton from a farmer? Because then, just like now, you can pick up the phone or on the internet in 1-800, you can get all the t-shirts you ever wanted tomorrow. But
Mm.
what we told Ronnie we wanted to do, we want to create this brand, Cotton of the Carolinas, which we describe as going dirt to shirt. We do it in 600 miles. We impact 500 jobs. But I think the thing that we do that is the most important, we do it in a completely transparent supply chain. We have developed a color thread system that goes on the inside hem and the inside sleeve. And you take those colors and you go to a website, where, WHERE, yourclothing.com. And when you put in those colors, it will then direct you to a map. And on that map, I will introduce you to the farmer, the ginner, the spinner, the knitter, the finisher, the cut sew, and TS Designs. And by introducing, I will give you a picture, I will give you a phone number, I will give you a physical address, and I will give you an email address. We make our supply chain completely transparent from the consumer to the farmer. I don't know any other brand or any other company that has that level of transparency. And that's what we think we need to do in the apparel industry, in our political system, in our manufacturing system. It's not, I'm saying what we're doing is right and everybody else is wrong, but what we owe to the consumer is doing a completely transparent supply chain so you can make that choice. So that's the thing we really advocate and talk about a lot, is the whole, the point of transparency. And I think that would go a long way to address, question concerns. And again, because we make it in North Carolina, because we're impacting, these jobs, these are, U.S. wages. You're probably average wage of $15 an hour compared to an average wage in Honduras of $2 an hour. Yes, this does make our clothes more expensive, not because we're making more money, but we're not doing what the brands do, which I call passing off negative external costs that they are not responsible for, i.e., unsustainable labor in these developing countries. There's no requirement, I'm not saying these brands are breaking any laws, but I say they're cheating the system. One thing we like to say at TS Designs, if you go outside of your market for a product or service in which your market could deliver, i.e., we can grow cotton here, we can make apparel here. But when you basically take that cotton and go overseas and bring it back to North Carolina to sell to people, then that is not sustainable and you're cheating the system. But the only way we're going to fix that is get the consumer to understand that and support it. And again, getting the consumer to look at value beyond price.
Right. I like that. I like that you guys do that. You guys are really about the local, and you guys are really about you know, helping keeping the jobs within the U.S. I really like that. I'm a really huge supporter of that. You guys are really honest with your business, and I think that's amazing.
Well, it's no different, I think, than the whole local food movement or the farmers market. I mean, I think we all derive a sense of value and happiness knowing where things come from and connect with those sources. I mean, to me, it makes the food taste better if I know the farmer that grew it.
Yeah.
We want to do the same thing with apparel. And we're just fortunate in North Carolina because we have the ability to grow cotton here and we manufacture probably here. I get a sense of happiness and value knowing that, and I hope my customer do too, that we can, see the people that grew the cotton or spun the cotton. I mean, it's just, it's very gratifying place to be. But again, it's getting people to understand it does cost more. And that is by far our biggest challenge in business is getting people to understand, why our product's more expensive. So hopefully they will support us.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you mentioned your cotton of the Carolinas, and you also said it's a complete transparent supply chain. Can you explain how this works and how is the consumer involved?
Well, the way we develop cotton in Carolinas is that I knew we would never would be in a position to grow our own cotton and gin it, spin it, and knit it. But what I wanted to do in order to control that supply chain and to control to make sure it stays transparent, stays local, and of very high quality, we purchased the raw cotton from the farmer. So that becomes, I think last year we bought 100,000 pounds. So that equates to about 150,000 t-shirts. So by us buying that cotton, then we essentially contract out, get in a transparent relationship, all the services that need to be done to take that raw cotton to make it a finished apparel. Right now, our focus is on jersey fabrics, which then in turn could be a men's t-shirt or a ladies t-shirt or a U-shirt, but it's in jersey related tops is our focus. Now, eventually we're going to take this model and move into wovens, and we've already started some developing that area, but I think it's probably a year or so out. But right now our focus, nothing that we did, even this season goes back before Cotton to Carolina, probably about a dozen years, well, probably about 15 years ago, is when we realized from NAFTA we were not going to be the low cost producer. We realized we had to, differentiate ourselves. And the position we took is we want to create the highest quality, most sustainable printed apparel. So the first thing we did coming out of NAFTA, I mean, we're a screen print company. We print apparel. That's, how we built the business. That's how we make our money. That's how we pay our bills. But at that time, the way t-shirts were printed, the way they're printed today, they knit the fabric, they dye the fabric, they cut and sew the t-shirt, and then they come back and print with this ink called plastisol, which is, if you'll feel your t-shirt you got at home, you'll feel it's like plastic resin. And from that plastic resin you're feeling is plastisol ink, which contains PVC, polyvinyl chloride, and phthalates, things we really don't need in the environment. So we spent about a couple years after, in the late 90s, after NAFTA, and developed a process we call Rehance. And the way that works is we actually, if you came to TS Design, you just could see a lot of white t-shirts. We print this water-based technology on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we have another facility about 5 miles away that garment dyes. So we take that white shirt and make it a color shirt. But what you end up with is a print that's in the fabric, not on the fabric, doesn't crack, doesn't peel, you can even iron it. Because we're garment dyeing, we totally take shrinkage off the table. And again, it has a much, much better environmental impact. And again, it's part of our vision of creating the highest quality, most sustainable printed apparel. And then that was, again, probably 15 years ago, we were starting to use that technology. And then from printing, we moved into Cotton to Carolinas. And now we actually have 3 flagship brands. The other one is American Soil Organic, and that's spun off from Cotton of Carolinas, because with the original business model with Cotton of Carolinas, we wanted to utilize organic cotton. And we successfully did that, I think, 5 years ago. But looking back, we were just extremely lucky. The next year, we had marginal results, and then the third and fourth year were complete failures from the field. The main reason in North Carolina, we have what we call a wet, dry season. Cotton being slow germinating, is weeds will get ahead of the cotton, and then it's basically, season over. So with the American Soil Organic, we're bringing certified organic cotton in from Texas and New Mexico. We just bring in the gin cotton. We use a supply chain of Cotton of Carolinas to make those shirts. And then our third brand is called Cloud Organic. That's a new brand of this year. And that spun off from years of working with American Apparel based in LA. And we helped them about a dozen years ago create a brand called Sustainable Edition. Again, what it does is a 30 singles, certified organic, in which, again, we use the Rehance of print and dye. So we took that same model. Right now, we're bringing a certified organic yarn from Pakistan. All the manufacturing is done in the U.S., and the cut and sew is done about 20 miles up the road from TS Designs at Industry of the Blind. So we produce about 1,000 to 1,500 shirts there a week, and all those brands are built upon using our Rehance print and dye process.
Wow. That is actually pretty amazing, because I checked out your TS Designs and shirts as well, and I never knew how much detail and work you guys put in with the cotton and the organic cotton and getting it from. That was an eye-opener for me. You guys put a lot of thought and details into the shirts and the cottons that you guys get.
Well, I said we've been into about 35 years. So, and we like to say, sustainability is a journey, not a destination. And we will continue to go down that path, to improve our sustainable impact and make a higher quality product.
And I think that's amazing. Really, it is. Again, you mentioned your American Soil Organic and your Cloud Organic. You're producing 100% organic cotton with your Cotton of the Carolinas. Now, what is the difference between conventional versus organic cotton, and why do you support organic cotton?
Well, I'll first say I am not a scientist or have the background to defend one way or the other, but the Cotton of the Carolinas is based upon which most cotton that is grown not only in this country but probably the world. It's GMO, genetically modified organism, and essentially been developed so they can use chemicals with the goal to increase yields. I'm just from a long time belief is nature works as a system, and nature needs to work in that system. And when you bring in a lot of chemicals that can be dangerous not only to man but to the environment to grow that cotton, I just have a problem with that. But again, with Cotton of Carolinas, that's the cotton we grow in North Carolina. So Cotton of Carolina uses GMO conventional cotton. I just believe, just like the food that I eat, and again, I'm not able and to eat 100% organic local food, but I'm very aware of I think the attributes and benefits. So I look for it and try to do it the best I can. So we think the same thing with organic cotton. I think there's, it's better to minimize the impact that you're having by using herbicides or pesticides, only to maximize short-term yields, but you got to understand what the long-term impact is. And I think we'll never know, and sometimes you don't know until it's too late, what those outside resources that you're using to maximize your short-term gain, but what is it causing long-term environmental degradation or harm to people that are associated with it. So to me, it's just good. It's good business practice. But as I tell people, Right now, we use conventional GMO cotton. That's again sustainability being this journey. It's where we are today. But hopefully, right now we're involved with a 3-year trial with North Carolina State University, which is our land grant university. And what they're working on, we just finished up year one. Again, with cotton being a slow germinating crop, the issues are weeds. So what happens if the weeds get ahead of the cotton, then it's season over. So what they're developing is some type of cover crop that can be planted after the cotton has been harvested in the fall. Then in the spring, that crop will be what they call rolled down, and it's just laid down. You create this thick mulch bed. Then you will slit open that mulch bed to plant the cotton. And then as that mulch bed rots and deteriorates and goes back in the soil, it basically minimizes weed growth until the cotton gets up to a certain height. And it doesn't really matter what happens to weeds after a certain point. The first year we grew our organic cotton, we had some plants that were probably 6 and 7 feet tall. So when you get, I would say a couple feet out of the ground for sure, then weeds don't present the challenge or issue as they do when the cotton has come right out of the ground and the weeds get ahead of it and basically choke it out.
Oh, wow. That's actually really interesting. I actually, for one, I did not know that plants could get that tall for cotton. I didn't know that. This is informative. I'm just, like I said, I'm new to the organic, and I'm learning so much. And I definitely think that with, continue to learn more about organic, I think, again, that impact that you guys are trying to do is definitely reaching, because, again, I didn't know anything about it till I watched your videos. And I think as you guys continue on, I think more people will definitely see that organic and cotton is probably the best cotton to work with, being organic and local.
Yes. Well, the thing I think that I'm very excited that's on my personal bucket list is industrial hemp. When you look at hemp as a fiber compared to cotton, it has so many more opportunities. I say look at the hemp plant compared to the cotton plant. There's so many more opportunities beyond apparel, and we're starting to see finally. I think the U.S. is one of the only or one of the few industrialized countries doesn't allow the growing of hemp due to its association with marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
Last agriculture bill that came out, it's now giving some states some latitude to start, putting in the test fields and doing some testing. North Carolina, it just passed our House and Senate. It's on the governor's desk to sign. I was invited to go to Kentucky 2 weeks ago, which I didn't make it, to see the first harvest of certified organic hemp. And I think ultimately what we have to do, it's got to be recognized at the federal level so we can start putting in the infrastructure to allow us to take, the hemp fiber and then not only produce food products with it, but also start producing fiber that can be used in apparel. Because I always like to tell people, hemp is, what I've seen in my experience, is better in a woven product than a jersey product.
Mm-hmm.
But I always tell people, a hemp pair of jeans, you'll probably outgrow them before you outwear them. It's just a lot more durable fiber than cotton is. So it will not replace cotton, but it will definitely be a great, what I want to say, partner or whatever to go along with cotton. So it's starting to finally get some traction, and I'm definitely hoping that I see that come to domestically made apparel in my lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, can you tell us about your patent printing technology, Rehance, and the eco-sustainable methods of Rehance?
Well, essentially what Rehance was based upon, the credit goes back to my good friend, Dr. Sam Moore, who was chemist, master's in chemist, and got an international degree in sustainability. And he was the one that pioneered the technology for us. But it is a water-based technology, and we print Normal screen printing process. It goes down a conveyorized gas dryer, which is specially built just to ensure the technology dries properly. But what Rehance is doing is essentially blocking dye sites. So when this apparel product is garment dyed and exposed to, we use a low impact reactive dye. When it sees those dyes, then that printed area will repel those dyes. So it just basically changed the characteristics of the cotton fiber to be, well, I describe it to people sometimes, if you'll take two magnets, and if you put the positive into negative in, they stick together. But if you go positive, positive, negative, negative, they push back. And that's essentially what we're doing to the receptors on the cotton fiber. We're basically blocking those, so when it's exposed to the dye, the dye does not adhere to it. It took us, a good couple years. And again, we didn't know this technology would even work. Now it has become by far the backbone of our business. And it completely has eliminated our use of plastisol inks.
Wow. Okay. I like that. So we know over here at Alternative Fashion, we're all about being green, but really, like you're saying, sustainability is a journey, not a destination. Would you please elaborate on your motto?
Repeat the question. You broke up there one bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. We said we like you're saying sustainability is a journey, not a destination. Would you please elaborate on your motto?
Oh, sure. I'm fortunate. I've been on this planet 57 years now, but I'm very lucky. I've have had a lot of things that have come my way. I was born in a nice middle class family. I went to school. But what I've come to realize as the planet continues to grow, and probably by the time I leave that, there'll be 9 billion people on this planet.
Wow.
We have built an economy based upon what they call the extraction economy. That's basically pulling things off the planet. Fossil fuels is a great example of that. And, these things of energy and the lifestyle that I lived is, I'm on top of the pyramid. And what we have to do is we've got to find a way so everybody in this world has an opportunity for quality of life and happiness. And, we have to, the way we're going to do that is we that are on the top of the pyramid have to be more accountable and responsible for our use of resources. And, what we take, when we take it, that means somebody else doesn't get. So, I'm hoping that what I've been able to do with TS Designs and will continue with TS Designs and do with my family and my community is continue that journey to, minimize, what I'm taking away so I can leave more back for other people so they can have opportunity. But, we've definitely, this materialistic society that we have built where, again, you're amassing a lot of wealth in a small group of people. And plus, I think we're starting to realize happiness is not a drive by how much stuff you have, but basically the community in which you're connected to. So we've just got to continue to make sure people understand that. And it's just not about me. It's about all of us and what we can do to work together to make this world a better place.
And see, I like that type of attitude. I like that type of mindset. That's what I believe also. I also think that it's not always about the money, the wealth, and the power. It is about us working together, and especially towards a better planet. It starts with us, absolutely. We have to do our part, to try to make this world as much as a better place as we can. And I do like that you have that type of mindset, and you're using your talks and your companies to do that. I really think that's amazing.
Well, thank you. Well, I appreciate what you're doing because I think it's so important to get this information out there. I mean, we continue to learn things every day. And what I like to say is that, it's okay if you don't know and you're learning something. We've got to be open and receptive and help those people learn that. But then once you realize what your responsibility is, you have an obligation to fulfill that. Otherwise, you're now part of the problem. And again, having organizations like yourself that, basically take these stories and get people. And again, we always says our best customer is an educated customer. It's all about learning and understanding, and not only want to improve yourself, but improve the community in which you live in.
And I agree to that. Again, like I said, I never was really into the cotton and where it came from and everything. And like I said, till I watched your video. So your message is getting across, because again, I'm going to take extra precaution about, the organics in my clothes and, where it comes from. I'm just going to be extra aware and more, I want to learn more about it so I can, spread the word, continue to spread the word about it. And
well, that would be great.
I do. Yeah, and I do appreciate your videos. And like I said, you kind of gave me an eye opener, and I like that.
Sounds great. Well, glad to help.
Absolutely. Now, can you tell us where we can find you on the internet?
I would start at our website, which is TS Design, T as in Tom, S as in Sam, Designs, DESIGNS.com.
Okay. Everyone out there who's follow Eric and on his website or on his company's website. He also has more videos on TED Talks where he talks about his organics and, anything other eco-sustainable. So definitely continue listening. I will definitely continue to listen and watch more of your videos, Eric, because I think they're very informative, and I think you're getting your point across, because again, if you open my eyes, and you're going to continue to open up a lot of people's eyes that will continue to watch your video.
Well, sounds great. Well, thank you again for your interest, and hopefully I'll hear from some of your listeners.
Absolutely. I really do appreciate you being on the show today with us, Eric. I'm glad you were able to take the time out. I know you got a huge, busy schedule, but we were really glad to have you on here.
Okay. Well, have a great rest of the weekend.
All right. You too. And everyone, thank you for joining us for Alternative Fashion Media Podcast. Again, we will have more another guest next time. Again, we thank Eric for joining us, and I hope you guys have a beautiful green day.
You have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.